I'm Bappaditya Biswas. I work with handlooms, mostly in Bengal. I've been working for the last almost 25 years now with the handloom weavers here in Bengal, mostly in Nadia district. And my work with them has been mostly contemporizing handlooms. When we started working, by exporting a lot of scarves and textiles, but we always wanted to contemporize the handloom and create a new look which traditionally otherwise they were doing. When I started my work here back in 2000, when I first walked into a Jamdani village, we saw that the looms were being dismantled and sold off as firewood. And that was a pivotal moment which really moved me, and I thought that with such a beautiful knowledge that they have, the weavers have, traditional weavers have the skill of weaving a cloth, introducing Jamdani as an extra web to create patterns and textures, and it's almost like a visual narrative that they can weave on a cloth. And using that technique, I really wanted to contemporize and modernize things, which gave another new fresh market to the skills. But along my journey with textiles, I saw that mostly all over India and all over the world, and when we go for textile symposiums or textile conferences, Indian textiles is always viewed from a very traditional eyeglass. Like, we are always looked at as a country which produced very beautiful traditional textiles 100,000 years back, and we are always spoken in that light. We are not spoken in a light of what is happening right now. So I really wanted to break that image because these skills are extremely modern and very, very versatile skills. It is a shame to just look at them from a traditional angle. So I really wanted to break that image and free the skills and free the look of the Jamdani or the traditional textiles to in a way which showed that how versatile they are. So that was the whole idea behind doing this project. If you really look at what is Jamdani, Jamdani is basically introducing an extra weft. What is an extra weft? Extra weft is an extra thread, because in a cloth, if you see, there are two elements that create a cloth, that is warp and a weft. So extra weft is supplementary discontinuous yarns that can be introduced in the process of weaving. They can introduce it into the cloth and create a pattern. That is actually extra weft, which is called the Jamdani. So using that concept, I used the word extra weft, and I really experimented with the extra weft. Rather than just sticking to the traditional extra weft, which is actually a thread, actually the technique allows you to incorporate anything as an extra weft into the cloth. So that was the point from where we introduced the bullions, we introduced the electrical wires. You can introduce anything into the cloth because extra weft is so versatile. The technique allows you to introduce anything into the cloth. If you really look at the history of these weavers, it's a story of migration. They came from Bangladesh after partition and they settled. Why in Fulia? Because Shantipur was the weaving hub at that time. So when these people who knew to weave, when they came to India to get settled, they requested the government to settle them closer to a weaving center so that they could continue their practice. That is why Fulia became a weaving hub, and now it has become one of the most important centers in Bengal. But Fulia earlier wasn't a weaving place. Shantipur was a weaving hub. So the migration happened, and they came with all their skills. So they came with the knowledge of Jamdani, of the extra weft technique, what they knew, and they started a new narrative of textiles which they call Tangail Jamdani, which happened over the years and developed in Nadia region. And so from Tangail Jamdani, again I pushed them to recreate the same technique by using modern contemporary materials and textures, and we started telling a new narrative again, and that is the beauty of craft, that how craft, if you see worldwide, or especially in India, craft has always migrated because of patronage, because of various reasons. People have migrated from one place to the other, and they have traveled with their craft, they have traveled with their knowledge, and they sat there in a new place, and they recreated their craft again, but again that adapted the local surroundings, the local materials, the local their livelihood, everything came into it and created a new genre. And so through my work, it also is the same narrative where I'm trying to create a new genre in this textile.